Niners favored by 10.5. These teams just played two weeks ago on Thanksgiving night. It's one of those division games where you see the same game 2 times in 3 weeks. Happens a couple times every year.
Indeed.
Niners favored by 10.5. They are, as the kids call them, a wagon right now. A wagon. They're a wagon.
Yeah.
Which means they're just rolling over everybody.
Well, they stomped Seattle the last time. I mean, this is one of their, take your pick, but this is one of their statement wins since they went on that 3-game losing skid. It is like the 3-game, all of those had no Debo and no Trent Williams, right? The 3-game losing skid. And one of them was the added sort of confounding factor of it was against Cincinnati when they had Joe Burrow cooking and everything was good. So basically, if they've had all of their players, their significant players in the lineup, the 49ers are undefeated this year.
Yeah.
And, I don't see any evidence that Seattle can stop that.
Yeah. I don't either.
They're the best team in the NFL this year when they're healthy.
The one thing that Seattle did, last week, hanging with Dallas, to me, Seattle needs those special games. Like when I was predicting how can Seattle pull off the upset against Dallas, where I was completely wrong, was saying, hey, maybe if they run the ball and, create some plays against Dallas's run defense and shorten the game, maybe they have a chance. But instead they decided, what if Geno Smith has 6 big-time throws and DK Metcalf goes off? That's if Seattle can do things like that, which is tough to bottle up. No,
here's a question for you. I thought about this earlier. I was like, this is more of a Wednesday question, but actually, no, it's here. So one of the things we were talking about heading into that Dallas game was actually the way Dallas generally gets a lead and then murders teams kind of plays into the Seattle's hands because they can actually they're maybe at their best when they just drop back and start passing it, even though they want to run the ball and blah, blah, blah. Like just airing it out to DK and Tyler Lockett and JSN might be where they're at their most dangerous and effective. Somebody tweeted, I think, during the week, it's like, what do you need to beat the 49ers? The best answer I saw was a lead, right? Which on one level is like a facetious, funny, of course, if you have a lead all the way to the end, you're going to win the game. But on the other hand, the one area where this offense struggles is playing from behind, right? If the game script is neutral, this offense is basically unstoppable and is destroying teams. Where Shanahan is historically terrible is down significantly. He does not come back ever. This offense isn't really built to do it. So the Dallas Cowboys took the ball, right, against Seattle. And the numbers say, don't do it, terrible thing to do. You're just sacrificing win percentage points by taking the ball instead of deferring to the second half, where you can 2 for 1 at either side of halftime, yada, yada. Is the 49ers actually a team where you want to take the ball against? Go down, score a touchdown, put them down 7, and if you get one stop, you can put them in a double-digit hole where their entire offense is different.
I think there's a lot of conflating variables there. First off, I don't think it's a massive win probability shift to take the ball versus in the first versus the second half. I think all you want is, if you're going to have an extra possession, you want it in the second half, not the first.
Well, you get to control getting an extra possession.
It's like not about the double hit at the end of the first half or whatever.
I think it definitely is. It's being able to control getting that extra, because
But you're not controlling anything.
No, you are. If you have the ball before halftime, you control the clock. You can determine who has the extra possession, essentially. You can't do that if you've taken the ball at the start. You don't have that same level of control.
Because you would have had you just would have your extra possession in the first half instead of the second half. Like, you're not going to, it's not about the double whammy and the middle eights and all that stuff. It's not. It's just about, if you have an extra possession, you'd rather know the game flow a little bit more. Like, if you're down 3 scores, you'd rather have the extra possession in the second half, so you know you're down 3 scores and you need to play differently. That's what it really is. Yeah, that's another one of those. That's a prayer, not a strategy. Like, let's just be winning. But, like, I don't mind. Yeah,
But you definitely can't control that in the second half. If you take the ball.
I don't mind. Like, take the ball. Like, fine. I don't care. Like, the difference between taking the ball in the first or the second half, I think, is marginal. I would always take it in the second half because of these reasons. And if there's a chance right now, I think it's fine. Yeah, I'd say yes. Take the ball if you have the opportunity, because there's a chance that this Niners wagon is worse with a lead.
Yeah.
But I would also say that's
with a deficit.
How do I get the lead? The same way you got the lead against Dallas, which was we got to create explosive plays in the pass game. And I do think Seattle is best fit to do that, or best set up to do that now than they've ever been,
But I
because
think,
of JSN and his emergence.
I think the overall point being the only way of stopping this 49ers team right now is to put them in a hole and change the way their offense plays the game, because you can't stop it the way it is otherwise.
No, I agree.
So take the ball,
Try to score early.
hit a bomb to DK, go up 7, and then try and desperately get a stop and try and get a second score, and then the whole game changes in your favor.
Yeah, it's definitely a Wednesday question, but I'll say, like, coaches are very funny. They'll say, no, analytics are stupid, but they'll also search for like they'll look for stats that say every time you block a punt, you win 90% of their games, and they'll like cling to that thing. And yeah, the team who scores first wins like 58% of their games, or 60, whatever it is, because usually the better teams score first. So it's not something that so how do you do that? And it's like, hey, you need to just be good on third down. All right, so how do I do that? Like, practice more? So yeah, it's a very difficult thing to just say, let's do well in the most important situations. However, there is a way to call the game to say we need to be more aggressive early to try to get up. And so I will buy into that as a strategy. If you're the underdog Seahawks or underdog anybody, try to get up on the Niners early, be so aggressive early, and try to make it, a game where they do have to try to play from behind. So I'll agree with that mostly. 10.5 though. Look, Seattle showed that I think they can hang with Dallas, but yeah, the Niners, they're just too good, man. Seattle's finishing this stretch of very difficult games here.
Yeah. I mean, I think the 49ers, unless what we just described happens, i.e. Seattle can completely change the dynamic of the game early and force the 49ers into a game script situation they haven't been used to, then I think the 49ers will just walk away with it.
2 weeks ago, Seattle's pass blocking, they couldn't handle the Niners. The pass blocking wasn't much better against Dallas, but Geno just kept throwing dimes.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, again, that's not like a bottle it up and do it, but
Right.
if Geno can hit throws like that, they can at least maybe hang and score enough points, and then you hope for some volatility here. But yeah, I'll take the 10.5 is a lot.
But I don't like the
Niners to
49ers.
keep
The 49ers
covering.
defense is so good that I don't think it's a realistic strategy to just try and keep pace with them. Like, I think you actually need to knock their offense out of their game script and change it.
That part I think is fair, because then they don't, they can go through everything that they do, exploit linebackers, run the ball when they want to, Deebo Samuel, and there's just too many answers for the Niners. But yeah, if they do become a little bit more one-dimensional, it is maybe the one advantage that teams have against a Shanahan team.